As far as wiretapping, I guess, by this past administration, at least we have something in common, perhaps.
Did you ever give him any reason to believe that he was wiretapped by the previous administration?
Look, the answer is no.
President Trump digs in on his claim he was surveilled by the Obama administration, just as German Chancellor Angela Merkel was. But Attorney General Sessions unable to give his boss any backup. And we're back now with the panel. Karl, not only is the president standing by his claim that he was wiretapped by his predecessor, but this week, and we saw there, he swept the Germans into this. He swept the Brits into this with a White House report or citing a Fox report that they had done some spying for the Obama administration on President Trump. How big a deal is this continuing controversy, and how disruptive to a president getting his agenda through Congress?
Well, it's a big deal publicly. I'm not certain how much it has to do with getting his agenda through, because most people outside of the confines of the West Wing are quick to dismiss this all. Look, we are in an age of paranoia, and everybody's participating in it. You said we're in the third week of the president making these claims. We're in the 16th week of the Democrats making the claims that collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign brought about Hillary Clinton's defeat. I say a pox in all their houses. Let's stop it. It's in the hands of a couple of adults. You had one of them on, Devin Nunes. I was surprised. Adam Schiff, who has a reputation for sometimes being an overt partisan, he handled it in an adult way last week. Senator Burr, the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and the ranking Democrat, Senator Warner, are appearing to approach this in a thoughtful fashion. I would hope the American people would leave it in their hands to wrap this all up. I think Chairman Nunes was right. The only thing we know is the name of one person has been leaked in violation of federal law. All the rest of this is conjecture, of which there's been no evidence on either side whatsoever.
General Michael Flynn. Dr. Emanuel, let me bring you into this. This isn't your area of expertise, but can this kind of thing get in the way of a president trying to get something as complicated as Obamacare, or in this case, the replacement of Obamacare, through Congress?
The whole thing is a distraction inside the West Wing, and you see mainly a distraction by his people who are trying to, cover up without contradicting their boss. There's never been a shred of evidence. It's a baseless charge that, in fact, there was spying on the Trump Tower, and why we're devoting any attention to it on just, I can make up something tomorrow. Chris Wallace, what did you embezzle? It's ridiculous with no evidence.
Let me ask you a question. Would you also say it's baseless, this charge that there was collusion, or at least that we have no evidence?
Wait a second. We know about Russian hacking, and we don't know the extent of it. And until we get the extent of it, there's actually some evidence that there is hacking going on.
That's not my question, sir.
And that is the important issue.
No, it isn't. My question is, because we have known that for months now, the continuing mystery is, did the Trump campaign collude with the Russians? We don't have any evidence of that.
I don't think that's the only question. The question is whether the Russians influenced our election, and that is a very serious charge that we have not gotten to the base of it. And that, I do think, is worth looking at, because we know they have hacked various
Do we have any
issues.
evidence of collusion? Yes or no?
We don't at the moment.
Okay.
But we have reason to suspect it.
But see, this is what I think is an odd mystery, right? We have the intelligence community has issued a report saying the Russians tried to influence the election and did influence the election.
Right.
And the issue here is
not influence the outcome.
No, they did influence the outcome.
Wait.
Yes.
No, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about that. But that's kind of settled.
It's not settled. This is the issue. Both Democrats are literally just asking for public investigations of this issue to air, because there hasn't been public discussion of this in any committee in which you can do that. And that's the reason why I find it so weird that David Nunes.
This isn't an investigation. They want a 9/11 investigation, because Hillary Clinton's loss was the result, Schumer says, of a 9/11 style attack on America by the Russians. Here, let's be clear about something. July 22nd. When the WikiLeaks began, she was ahead in the Real Clear Politics average by 2.6 points. On October 6th, when the second rank came out...
Enough numbers. I want to talk about Neil Gorsuch. Neil Gorsuch.
Please just give a real investigation. That's all anyone.
Wow, this panel. I need a chair and a whip, like lion tamer. Because there's nothing that is more important or longer lasting than a president's nominee to the Supreme Court who, if he gets on the court, can be there for 30 years. And this is the question of Neil Gorsuch. Democrats looking for some way to oppose him. Here they are.
I have demanded that he condemn
Donald Trump's attacks on an independent judiciary. So far, he has failed to do so. And I believe he should be held accountable in that hearing.
Now, we asked you for questions for the panel, and we got a bunch on this issue of what should be done about the threat of a Democratic filibuster, which the Democrats are putting out there. Karen Springer tweets this: can the Republicans just go to the nuclear option right away and get Gorsuch on the court right away? What she's talking about is the fact that the GOP majority could change the rules, as the Democrats did back in 2013. They did it for lower court judges. The Republicans could do it for Supreme Court nominees to make it 51 votes instead of 60.
We should remember.
Wait. Rachel?
Look, they can go nuclear if they need to. Hopefully they won't have to. But here's the thing. This week, it's going to be like pouring salt in the wounds of Democrats because they are so angry that Donald Trump gets to pick this nominee and also potentially 2 or 3 during his presidency. And so they're going to pressure Schumer and everybody else to complain about this, to try and block this, to have a filibuster. But the truth is, it will make them look like they're not mainstream, because I think once Gorsuch goes up for these hearings, everybody's going to see that this person is absolutely... Neil Gorsuch is mainstream, he's intelligent, he's brilliant,
he's definitely intelligent. He may be a good judge, but the Republicans upset tradition. They were not conservative in this way. 10 months. Merrill Garland was there, and the Republicans violated every tradition.
Election, just like you wanted to do with the
Republicans violated.
Relitigate the election.
To the Supreme Court has been approved in the last year of a presidency. They upheld an 80-year tradition.
Exactly.
The country's 240 years old, and they violated every tradition that the president has the right to nominate someone.
I just really want to say
you got
the
literally 10 seconds.
independent judiciary is what's at stake here, and I think that's where the Democrats are going to focus.
I'm glad we settled all this. Thank you, panel. See you next Sunday. This is a great panel. We'll have you all back.